there is one stock that is about to skyrocket. The company is Centrus Energy. They had revenue of $75 million. They do nuclear fuel. So that's processed uranium. And nuclear is likely to be the energy source in 5 years. Tech giants are saying it's going to happen before that, but we also were expecting self-driving cars, robo-taxis, in 2025, and here we are. We're still getting the permitting just to test them in Austin, for example. So we know everyone talks big, raises the money, maybe cashes out some secondary stock, raises another fund off the back of, illiquid, non-mark-to-market rounds. We're not really having to care about that as public investors. So what we do know is that this company, LEU, is down significantly from its peak, and that was a few months ago. So as far as the momentum for this company, it's probably going to come back in. December could be a slowish month, but it is at a sort of bounce opportunity. And there's another company as well, uranium company UUUU. The company name is Energy Fuels. It's kind of a generic name, but they have revenue of 14 million, up from 4 million. So that's a huge increase. Revenue might actually be like much lower than that, 10 or 7 to 10, but it's a significant increase. We'll jump into the exact revenue numbers and look at how this uranium mining company plays in to the nuclear story. So these are not fundamental ideas to hold for the next 5 years, although that's when this whole story is probably going to play out. If you're interested in a short-term momentum play, a couple days to a month or a few months, this is the spot for you. So let's jump in. Not financial advice.
This is Sam Putnam.
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 So here's Centrus Energy. 75 million of revenue, up 30% from a year ago. And their uranium business generated 45 million, up 30% from a year ago. So they do nuclear fuels, services, but they have two segments. So they have the enriched uranium, which it sounds like makes up most of their revenue, but definitely not the lion's share. And then they also help support their services company. So that's going to be probably a growing segment in the next handful of years. Construction, operation, services, public and private sectors. So it's a company that's been around for, a couple decades. Sorry, I'll stop playing with this highlighting. I'm just trying to make sure we look at what's important here. This is like a private government mix company. It's a uranium mining and services mix company, and it's been around for 20 years. So it kind of checks out as to how it has 75 million in revenue. Even though what's interesting is the market cap is pretty much the same as this Energy Fuels company. And if we look at LEU, here's where they're at. Pretty crazy run from 150 to 450. I mean, September was crazy, but October was crazy for these companies as well. So these are the euphoria momentum companies. So they're not trading off of revenue or price to earnings or anything normal like that. And now it's been, you might not believe it, but it's been almost 2 months since that high. So in the same way they took 2 months to go up, they've taken 2 months to come down. Some went up a little faster than 2 months. So they're all in the conversation, in the running for bounce plays. And, in the same way as STS can bounce, there's opportunities to get in, find a spot to get in, find a risk level, and look for a move up. Could you be wrong? Could you get chopped out? Sure. And that'll happen. I know people were upset. I mean, if you bought Intel, for example, or a better example would be AMD, after its earnings and got chopped out, you would have had to get back in, for example, to participate in this sort of a miracle jump, which was off the OpenAI deal that AMD announced. So, sometimes you'll get a gift like that, but you do have to be back in the stock. And so, is there likely to be one of those gifts for LEU or UUUU? I don't know. There certainly was for MP. They had this $400 million Department of Energy stake that got announced, and this company jumped 60%. And they're in rare earths, so that's a national security concern as to why that went up. So could uranium become, especially U.S. uranium? So this LEU, it's in Maryland, and it supplies services internationally, which is why I think they probably have a little more revenue than just this U.S.-based uranium mining company, which is UUUU. Could this have some sort of, stake that the government takes in it? Maybe it could. If not a stake, maybe just some type of initiative, executive order that benefits them. Easier permitting, whatever it might be. So for that reason, when it comes down to a favorable level, it gets interesting. Now, this other company, UUUU, is setting up here. We'll see. None of these moves are particularly smooth, but remember what the market looked like over the past week, right? Past week it went up, but what I'm really talking about is the week before. This is so choppy. November 20th was almost as bad as the crypto liquidation day of October 10th. So the charts are definitely reflecting that. And as much as it would be nice to have a nice, smooth, move up like Lumen, I'm kind of kicking myself for glossing over this. I just wasn't sure because it went down so much. But it's just rode that moving average. And this doesn't look like much, but I mean, this is almost 20% from one of these lows. So pretty wild opportunities that might happen for some of these other stocks. And as far as a little more about what these guys are up to, they do have a gross loss. The LEU segment loss. LEU itself means low enriched uranium. So that's supposed to be the part that is going to be a growing vertical for them, as all these nuclear companies in the US need that. And they do have this backlog of $4 billion, with the LEU segment accounting for almost all of that, 3/4 of that. But that's extending into 2040. So if you're investing in this company based on that, that's 15 years away. I think that's a little crazy. I mean, it could happen. That whole backlog could be fulfilled. I mean, this company did go from 40 to 400 in 6 months. So I'm not saying you're crazy for fixating on that thesis. I'm just saying, if you're here for the next few days or so to a month, at the very least, you could say, well, we're at 250. We could probably get up to 300 plus. I mean, I don't think that's crazy. So that low enriched uranium is definitely the long-term play. LEU just has that existing revenue. Like I said, it's been around for 20 years. I don't know how long this... Oh yeah, so it sounds like this company has been around for a lot shorter of a time. I mean, I guess we could just look at the actual charts, but sometimes it can get a little bit tricky with SPACs and all that. So UUUU has actually been around since 2013. So yeah, maybe I eat my words on that one. Guess they've both been around. They're pretty similar. They're pretty similar for sure. As far as daily volume too, that's what I was trying to look at here. This is 20 billion of daily volume up here in the last quarter, and LEU is, this is 300 times 100, so that's whatever that is. That's like 20 billion as well. So they're pretty much identical actually in terms of maybe how long they've been around and how much dollars goes into them on a quarterly basis or even on a daily basis, a couple $100 million. So kind of pick your poison. I don't think uranium is uninvestable for the long term at all. I just see, this is a really smooth move that UUUU is given in October, similar to Oklo. LEU sort of marched up. So maybe LEU is a little bit, the average daily range of 4, versus 5. I mean, they seem pretty interchangeable if we're being honest. What it really will probably come down to is if you look at the intradaily and you see, this company gets up to here, maybe you want to buy at 16.5 risking 16 or something like that because you have this cliff versus LEU. Maybe it gets up there. Maybe you can do the same sort of thing. But they just look the same to me. They look totally the same to me. UUUU did have this earnings, but I think either of these are pretty interesting. So as far as the broader market, we can sort by, the average daily range. We can sort by the sector, which we've done. But if we just basically look at the companies based on their size, well, we're just going to see that market reflected. And the small caps had a big run for a week ago, and now they're leveling off. SPY, had a crazy run, but this is 5%. Look at this. Look at the small caps run. This is 8%. So, but if we just look at big companies, this is what we're seeing. Okay, it's possible we can just move up from here. It wasn't looking like that was really in the cards, but let's look at the past where we had 5% runs. Obviously, it's totally possible to have 5% run, pull back, consolidate, and then just go up more, maybe for another month. So June into July, really July was awesome. It was sort of like 1 month on, 1 month off, right? April was the recovery. May sort of consolidated. May and June, I guess, was sort of a mixed bag. 6%, whatever, 7%. July was up. August was sideways. September was up. October was sideways. November has been sideways. And now December, could be that up month. Probably some tax loss harvesting at the end of the year. But it certainly looks very strong right now. So bounce plays seem like the safest way to play it because you get that benefit of, even if it doesn't go up, you're not going to get you know, you're not betting on the market. You're betting on small cap momentum where money has to flow at some point because people have got to, participate in the economy. So those are the ideas: centrists and energy fuels, LEU and UUUU. If you like these ideas, hit that like button. It helps people find these ideas on YouTube. And if you want a free course, hit that subscribe. It's how to buy stocks before they go up. If you are watching this live, check out the Discord at 9:30 a.m. We'll be streaming in there. You can see that at stockscommunity.com. We'll see you in the next one.
This is Sam Putnam. This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.